Hi, I'm Mr. Simons, and in this video we're going to talk about the economic problem and the four main economic questions. So this is kind of a starting point in terms of our study of economics. So when we first set out in terms of any kind of field of study, we might be thinking about, what the hell is this all about? What does this even mean? And in terms of economics, a really great place to start is the economic problem. So if we think about society, and if we think about, say, our lives in general, that often we experience a situation where we have got lots and lots and lots of wants that I challenge you to quantify, to sum up, to total the number of wants in your life. I bet you can't do it, because as soon as you come up with a number, whoa, there's more that emerge after that. But the problem that you might experience is that you can't satisfy all of your wants. It's just not possible, because maybe you don't have enough money, maybe you don't have enough time to make it happen. So when we look at the economic problem, it is very much about this idea that we have, as a society, unlimited wants, but limited resources. In this context, when we talk about resources, we're talking about things like money, time, land, natural resources, so iron ore and coal, all of the things that are used to achieve our wants. If we think about ourselves as individuals, our greatest resource is time. No doubt a teacher has told you that at some point in your life. So that if you want to, for example, go to the movies and also play a basketball game, and both start at midday, you're not able to do that. You can't fit both of those things in at the same time. So if we're in a situation where we have unlimited wants, but limited resources, we have to choose. If I can't do everything on my top 5 list of things that I'd like to do, I have to prioritize. I have to say, okay, I'm going to put all my attention into achieving the top 2, but the other 3, I just can't do them right now. I am physically incapable of achieving them because I've got limited time, money, and so on. So it is because of the economic problem that we have to choose. It is because we have a scarcity of resources that we have to set a priority of things we'd like to achieve, things we really want to do, and the order in which we'll do them. We can think about it from the perspective that an economy, so the combination of individuals, governments, and businesses, they can't produce everything they want. It's really sad, but it's true. They can't do everything they want. If you ever meet a politician and you say, why didn't you do X, Y, or Z? They say, oh, it's hard to do all these things. We're really trying to focus on the priorities that give the maximum benefit for the most number of people. This is the economic problem, right? We have limited resources, but unlimited wants. So from the economic problem, we can go to the economic questions. And what this is about is it's about, okay, if we've got limited resources and unlimited wants, what questions do we have to ask to figure out what to do? What questions do we need to ask to figure out how to deal with this situation? So there are 4 economic questions that we can focus on. The first question is what to produce. If an economy can produce a huge range of goods, and there's a really long list of things it might be able to make, what does it focus on? What would be best for its people in terms of production? And what are other products that it could maybe get from overseas and focus on producing other things domestically? So the idea is, okay, we sit down and we think, we've got all these wants, limited resources, what do we produce? That's our first question. The second question is how much to produce. So if we've decided that, for example, we're going to produce pens because pens are super useful, that we now have to decide how many pens will we produce? And how many pens will we produce so we use those scarce resources well, and there's not a lot of waste left over. There's not a lot of pens sitting around that no one actually needs. And the resources like time, plastic, money, they're all wasted because no one wants those pens. So we figured out what to produce, and we thought about how much to produce. Our third question is how to produce. How does the society make the pens? Do we use machines? Do we use labor? Do we make the pens out of plastic? Do we make them out of wood? Do we make them out of canvas? What is the way that we make these products? And in terms of deciding how to produce, you'd think about what are the skills of the workers, what resources do we have, how quickly do we need to produce, those kind of things. So all of the economic questions may then have sub-questions that an economy needs to address. Now, a final question, this fourth question, is how to distribute production. So once all of the pens have been produced, how do they then go out into society? Does everyone get a pen? Is it free? Does the government provide it? Or are pens very expensive and it only goes to those with lots of money? Are they subsidized? Are they sold everywhere? Are they sold in specialist shops? Are they sold online? Are they sold in rich areas, poor areas, all areas? I think you get the idea of the kinds of questions that you might be asking. So we're really thinking about what do we make? How much do we make? How do we make it? And then how do we distribute that production throughout society? Those are the key economic questions. Okay, so this video was a short intro in terms of looking at where does economics start? Where do we originate in our study of this field? And I'm encouraging you to think about it in terms of starting out with this economic problem, that whether you're an individual, a business, or a government, you have unlimited wants, but limited resources. It's very sad, but to address that situation, we then have to ask the economic questions. How do we figure out this problem of which wants to satisfy, which ones to leave behind, and how to use those scarce resources to do it? If you've got any questions, need to clarify anything about this, put them in the comments. And as always, thank you very much for watching.